dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you haven't got it right.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics. In this case, not very sensible secondhand classics. The series where we normally take practical and sensible cars that are over 15 years old that you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 and put them through their paces. In this case, I wouldn't say this 1992 or 1994, depends on what you believe. Lotus Elan M100 is a particularly sensible car, but nevertheless, here we are. Is it any good though? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So I say 1992 or 1994. This car was actually manufactured in June 1992. It's one of the last of the Series 1 Turbo SE models. After that, it was sold to a Man Edgerton dealership, but not registered. It was then exported to Germany in about 1993 or 1994 in preparation for the launch of the Series 2 Elan in 1994, and was actually changed in various ways to more fit Series 2 aesthetics. So we've got a centre console, the wheels are different, the badging was changed on the outside, and various other little bits. And right-hand drive car in Germany is a bit strange, but that's the way they did it. And a British man bought it off a trade stand in Germany in 1994, but did not register it in the UK until 1997. So this carries a 1994 plate, and it has various Series 2 bits on it. So which of those is it? You be the judge. So development work started on the M100 Elan back in 1986 under Peter Stevens and General Motors. In fact, there are quite a few General Motors bits on this car, such as some of the interior bits and things like that, though the rear lights are off a Renault GTA. The engine is from Isuzu, either 130 brake horsepower non-turbo version or this 165 brake horsepower turbo version. The turbo version is an awfully lot more common. They've only made 129, I think, non-turbo versions of this car. So far more common to find one of these. When the car was relaunched for Series 2 in 1994, the engine was changed a little bit and developed a bit less power. I think about 155 horsepower. 0 to 60 in this car is something like 6.5 seconds. I mean, it's very, very quick, and it's not very heavy. It weighs just over a ton. Got a backbone chassis and a fiberglass body, which is sort of classic, lower volume British sports car.
So here we are, viewers. Look at this. Isn't this a tasty looking car? And of course, those of you familiar with Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 on things like the Commodore Amiga will instantly recognise one of these. It is a turbo, SE Turbo. It's a very peculiar car, this one, because it's a mixture of Series 1 and Series 2 bits. So, for example, the door locks are off a Series 1. The car was originally built in 1992 as a Series 1, but was changed to look like a Series 2 for the launch in Germany, of all places, of these in 1994. So the badge next to Elan has been removed. Got the Series 1 boot lock there. Like all of these, it's got the Renault GTA rear lights. And then if we look on the interior, then another Series 1 door lock. That should have a little plaque on it if it was a Series 2 car, and also the centre console is actually a Series 2 item. Dash is the same on, I think, all the cars. The steering wheel also been changed for a Series 2, and so with these wheels, which look absolutely fantastic. on these Series 2 or Series 2 look car, but the Series 2's had 16 inches like this, and the suspension's slightly different on those. The one thing I can't do, which is really annoying, just because it's just me, I can't turn on the engine and pop the headlamps up. I can pop the headlamps up, but I can't show them sort of popping up. We can show them up or down, we just can't show the process of it. It's just me here today. So that is a bit of a shame, but there we go. So yeah, very, very peculiarly, built in 92, bought off a trade stand by a British person living in Germany in 1994. Between 92 and 94, the car was converted to still right-hand drive, but converted to look like a Series 2. Those came out in 94. So yeah, whether it's a Series 1 or a Series 2, and you call it a 92 or 94, that's up to you. The DVLA call it a 94, although this car was not registered in this country until 1997. So they went with the date that the British customer had bought the car in Germany as opposed to the date that it was imported. It's very, very confusing. So look more at the interior. So some bits which are familiar to lots of Vauxhall owners at the time. For example, these indicator and wiper stalks are straight out of the Mark III Cavalier. And there's that famous Corsa B electric mirror switch. It was used in all sorts of other Vauxhalls too. And those electric mirrors, which I think are out of an Amiga. Dashboard though is bespoke. I think this cost more to design just for dash than some of the earlier Lotus models in their entirety. Which is a shame, because these cars were not particularly profitable when they came out in 1989 at all. One of the reasons for that, and I'll show you with this very handy guide to the specifications. This is from 1989 when the car was launched. You can see that the list price of the cars were £17,850 or £19,850, and the SE was the 165 brake horsepower engine, but also you got air conditioning, leather seats and door inserts, and power steering, in addition to an engine that had about, I think it was 35 horsepower more. So the normally aspirated car, they hardly sold any of them. Really, really uncommon. And you can see for an extra £2,000, more than an extra power and equipment, why would you go for a normal one? So yeah, the dash is interesting. You've got the heater controls stacked like this, hazard lights there, hopefully you don't need that. Now Dave has put in this old looking but new Bluetooth unit, which I would do personally if I had a car like this. That's actually not the light, that's a dashboard dimmer. We've got boost gauge, oil pressure, voltmeter. We've got a digital clock down here. Those are for, I don't know what those are for. The roof's actually manual, so I'm not going to touch the roof today because it's not raining and it's a little bit of a fiddle to do that. And then we've got this very, very sort of late 80s, early 90s instrument display here, which is just fabulous. I absolutely love this. I love the Nardi steering wheel. I know this isn't a proper Series 2 car, but I love this steering wheel anyway. And then we've got this light switch here. Door cards are, well, we've got the SE model, so we've got the leather facing here, and then we've got a tiny, tiny door pocket. The glove box is interesting. It keeps wanting to sort of fall open, and we've got another mirror switch there for some reason. Let's hope that doesn't come open when I'm driving. Lotus design, yes indeed. Fantastic. Yeah, 5-speed manual, all the 5-speed manual. And we've got a tiny little bit there with a speaker in it to store things. Drive position is actually really, really comfortable. It's surprisingly comfortable. And actually it's a lot more friendly to sort of get into and drive. Thank you, autofocus. It's a lot more friendly to get into and drive a lot of cars like this. Better driving position, pedal layout is good, gear lever falls nicely to hand. Handbrake is really weird, so I'll just put my foot on the brake so we don't go anywhere. That is actually normal for when the handbrake is on. When the handbrake is off, you pull it up and it goes down. That stiffens up like that. That's now off. So you pull it up again, you can hear it click, and then that is actually on. We're not going to go anywhere. Right, let's have a look under the bonnet. We might put the headlamps up actually whilst we have a look. You can see here we've got this 1.6 Isuzu Lotus engine developing 165 horsepower with the turbo. The turbo is right there. Front wheel drive, unlike virtually any other Lotus I can never think of. And bespoke chassis, backbone chassis, glass fibre body. You can see here with that, it's very, very light, this bonnet. And look at that, pop-up headlamp action. Yes please. Yes please viewers, that would make me very, very, very excited. Just a delightful looking car. The turbos can have problems. What you tend to do is if it was really hot, you wait a few seconds for the turbo to sort of cool down a bit before you turn the engine off. Some people have a turbo timer fitted to help that out. But yeah, these engines are pretty reliable, to be honest. I haven't heard of too many horror stories with them. And actually this car is in really, really nice condition. It's been looked after well. It's only done 34,000 miles. Okay, well, I suppose we'd better go out for a spin, viewers. I spoke too soon, viewers. We haven't looked in the boot yet. So, weirdly enough, the main key for the car, that's the ignition key, for the autofocus will work properly, is an Opel branded key. The key for the doors and the boot is this one here. Strange. Anyway, so we open the boot by putting the key in there. It's not the biggest boot in the world, really. Not at all. But we've got a little thing under here we can lift up and see we've got a spare wheel under there, so that's good. It's one less thing to worry about. I don't think actually in this car whether you have the hood up or down makes any difference to the boot space. We've also got washer fluid bottle in here for some reason to make sure we don't lock the keys in the boot, because it's very easy to close it. Yeah, it's a delightful car this. If you want to put the hood up, it's absolute fat. So if you want to put the hood up or down, it involves like having three hands, and clips are at the top here, and in the door jamb you've got this thing you need to pull out at the same time as pushing this up. This is why I've elected not to do it on camera. I'm letting Dave, who owns this car, actually put the hood back up for me when I take it back to him. So you won't see any shots of the car with the hood up. You'll see it with it down. Right, anyway, I moved the car slightly because someone came parking next to me, so we'll get some shots now of this and go out for another spin, which will be an awful lot of fun for me.
So we won't go too fast today, viewers. We've got the hood down, but we're going to get to 40 miles an hour very, very quickly. Gearbox actually is quite nice. It's a little bit sort of more slack on it than MX-5 gearbox, which of course is the main rival for these cars. They both came out in 1989. Yeah, it's really nice handling, front wheel drive, very unusual for a sports car like this. The only one I can think of the year would be a Fiat Barchetta. Brakes are really good, driving position is excellent. I can see why Kia, who bought the manufacturing rights to the car in 1995 and started making these in 1996 with a Mazda engine, generated about 147 horsepower, I think it was. They didn't sell a lot of them though, about 1,000 or so. There weren't many imported to Britain, none officially. But yeah, they do come up for sale sometimes. And they're sort of similar in many ways. The bottom of the engine and the rear lamps are different. It is really quite a delightful car to drive. I'm really, really happy that Dave, who owns this car, finally kind of synced up with me to be able to film this. I was first off this about a year ago, but it just hasn't happened. One of the things that happened, the car got stuck in a garage for months because the door was broken. So finally we're in here, and it's January, and I'm driving an open top Lotus, the first Lotus I've ever driven, and it is such a delight. It's really easy to drive. Because its front wheel drive, the steering is amazing. Particularly with this Series 2 Nardi steering wheel on it, absolutely incredible. I'm not driving it really to its fullest. The boost gauge isn't really spinning too much because I'm just aware this car's just been sold, and so I'm just taking it really carefully so nothing happens to it. But this is just an absolute joy. I really, really like driving this. You probably don't like the video so much because it's sort of shaking everywhere because the car's not the most rigid. The chassis is very rigid though. But isn't it such a delight to drive a car like this? It's a shame that these really didn't sell in the numbers that Lotus wanted, because the MX-5 came out and it just kind of took most of the sales away from it, which is it's a huge shame. But to drive an example like this with all this history and kind of in this sort of condition, it's in really great condition. It's fantastic. You can pick them up, as I've mentioned, for less than £5,000. I wouldn't recommend that. You want to spend about 10 or at least. You get a really nice low mileage car like this. Let's now have a look at a letter that was sent to UK sports cars who had this car at the time in 2019 by Lotus. It says, "Dear Sir and Madam, thank you for your inquiry relating to your 1992 Lotus Elan SE. Please find enclosed your certificate of provenance. Documents provide the detail from the full build record when the car left the factory. They don't cover changes since motors leaving production and don't verify the current condition, of course. Well, this car's been heavily changed since it left production in 1992. Original body colour was aqua blue metallic. Lotus paint code B06. Soft top colour was black, it still is. Original interior trim was graphite, perforated, leather with grey carpet. The seats have been changed in this car. They're not the originals anymore. Factory option extras were metallic paint, leather seat facings and door inserts, which would be normal for an SE. The car was signed off production on 11th of June 1992. Original dealer was Man Edgerton and Company. However, this car was never registered in the UK at the time. The Elan was introduced in 1989 as the 1990 model year, with 1992 being the last model year before the S2 Elan was released in 1994. The UK market was standard Elan with a normal aspirated engine, which virtually nobody bought, or the SE with a turbo. The following is based on data available to date, and the serial number sequence for 1992 model year Elan SE for the UK market only. Your car is the 375th out of 442 cars. Your cars are 39th out of 43 cars in aqua blue. Your cars are 24th out of 25 cars in aqua blue with perforated graphite leather trim. Aqua blue is the fourth rarest colour out of the 10 different colours used on the UK 1992 Elan SE. I hope you find this information of interest and enjoy your Elan ownership. On the back here, we've got the certificate of provenance, which just basically confirms exactly the same information. So I've looked up on here as well some problems these cars can have. Now, you've got to bear in mind, only the Series 2 cars have ABS. I don't think this car does have it because it originally was the Series 1. Issues you can have include the cam angle sensor, the gear linkage. It's not the tightest gearbox I've ever used. It's all right. This car's quite low mileage. It's only done 34,000 miles, so it's quite good. Pop-up headlamps, electric windows, the hood, the frames can warp, and then the loose front-hub carrier joint. The body's fiberglass on this, so they can actually crack, but this one's fine. It's actually in really nice condition, and there's a galvanised chassis. So viewers, should you consider an M100 Lotus Elan for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 as a sensible second-hand classic? In this case, not a very sensible second-hand classic. Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose you could. The issue is there's not that many of these around. They didn't make an awful lot of them. In fact, the numbers for the Series 1, there were only 3,855 in total, and the Series 2s were about 800, so it's not a lot around. Particularly if you want a non-turbo S1, they only made 129 of those. It's not surprising considering that the difference in price was very small between the two models. But yeah, I'm really happy to have had a go in this. This car's just been sold. I'm very happy that finally we managed to actually organise a time to film this. And thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. I really hope you do subscribe, like this video, comment below, and we'll see you again very shortly for some more reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.
One, two, three, four. Every blue day, every day with blue skies.